Hello, good evening and welcome to the FB4 podcast. Sunday night has arrived. Liverpool 3, Manchester City 1. I called it a masterclass afterwards and I'm going to stick by that. What a game, what a win. Pep Guardiola's head has fallen off and rolled down the Anfield Road at this stage. It was absolutely unbelievable. With me is Grizz and with me is Chris. And lads, I'm just absolutely over the moon with this. Play 12, won 11, drawn 1, 34 points from a possible 36. International break upon us. Grizz, your initial thoughts on how you were feeling as that final whistle went?
Exhausted, Gav. I'm still haven't recovered. Just pure adulation, pure joy, mixed with pure emotion. For me, that was, I've been saying to you all week, Gav, for me, I mean, it's not rocket science, but that was a huge, significant win for the psychology of this team, Gav. Nothing's won, in terms of the league title. Nothing's over. No one's claiming, well, majority of sane Liverpool fans not claiming anything.
Oh yeah.
But you're on the cans. You don't count. What we can say, and what most will say, and I said to you, and I promised you this as well. I said, if we beat City, then we become favourites. So remember I said to you about our prediction in terms of where we're going to finish, and I said to you, talk to me after Sunday, and then it's a fluid situation. Things can change. In my very humble opinion, that puts us as favourites for the first time. For me, for the first time, I make us favourites. Even last season, when the points gap was 7 points, etc., I didn't have us as faves. We just didn't have the experience, the know-how. I thought City would come back. We've matured as a team, Gav. We've matured as a club. The players, there's leaders. Oh, Gav, I'm tired, mate. Go to Chris.
Okay.
I'm very emotional.
There is absolutely loads of comments coming in here across YouTube and Periscope. I did tell you this show was going to be live on YouTube only, and then I completely forgot to remind you, so I've left it open to Periscope for this week. Shaq says, Gav, you joker. I don't know what, am I joking? I don't know what I'm joking about. I don't think I am. Barry Carr is in, he says, Wijnaldum, brilliant, Fab the Fabulous. Go Joe Gomez, he's lashing them in. Carl Duff says, evening, Gav, up the relentless Reds. Barry Carr says the Rock Degsy. Chris, there's a lot said before the game, the build-up, injuries, who will play, who won't play, all that sort of thing. But when that final whistle went for you, Chris, what was your feelings?
Elation, mate. Elation. Because it was probably, I thought it would be a lot tighter than what it was. I'd never thought we'd go 3-0 up. Regardless of how much City's injuries that are in there, it's still a very good side. I do think that injuries are overplayed to what they've got, but it was great. As Chris said, puts in a brilliant position. Nothing's won, but you'd rather be 9 points clear than not of Man City. Yeah, and obviously we still got the other two teams. I think we're 8 points clear of. So it's there's not much more the club can do. The club can do really at the moment.
Yeah, there's not much more you can do. The record so far this season is phenomenal for me, and to see us 9 points clear, to see 8 points clear of Leicester and Chelsea at this stage is just unbelievable. There's loads of reaction coming in from Trevor Vela says Robbo almost a third centre half, unbelievable. Kev says we've taken 16 points from 18 against our top 6 rivals. Now the pressure is really on for us to keep winning and them to keep up. Nordred asks how good was Fabinho. Centurion says final whistle, plain relief. I was a bit like that. Even at 3-1 going into injury time, I was like, if they get one here and there's 30 seconds on the clock, anything could happen. But I thought we were exceptional. Grizz, the lineup, we always kind of start with the lineup. And for me, I spoke during the week about who we think will play. I think the only argument was in midfield, Oxlade-Chamberlain and Henderson seemed to be the discussion. But I always felt he'd go with those three in midfield, and it was justified, Grizz, wasn't it?
I can't think of a time when it hasn't been justified, and that's what counts, isn't it, Gav? We've discussed this so many times. We all have our favourites. We all have our ideas of what the midfield and team should be. But this man, Jurgen Norbert Klopp, is that the right order?
Jurgen Norbert Klopp is the right order, Grizz, yeah.
Yeah, you never know. I might get mixed up today, Gav.
You sound emotional, Grizz. You sound emotionally drained.
Gav, this is today's been emotional. I told you, and you thought I was joking when I said to you, it will be emotional if we beat them, because it's the psychology of it, Gav. As Mourinho said in the post-match analysis, he said, and when he turned to when he was talking to Boeing 747 head company. He said, he goes, when they beat you and they had that gap, you was the best team, and you always knew that you was the best team, and they weren't the best team. You know, they were up and coming, they were doing very well, but you was the best team in the country. He said, now it's very apparent and it's official from the league table and the points difference that we are the best team in the country. Not only the best team in the country, Gav, I'm categorically stating it, we are the best team in the world right now, the best club side in the world from top to bottom. And that's emotional for me, Gav. That's very, very emotional for me. In 3 years, Jurgen Klopp, three full seasons, right, his fourth season, 3 full seasons, he's turned this club around into the best club in the world, Gav. Let that sink in.
Yeah. And you know what, like, it was a result today, Grizz, that probably just cemented that in your mind and many people's minds, because, you know, we're going in there as European champions, top of the league, unbeaten. We've only dropped 2 points. But it was one of those, I felt, where we had to I don't like that laying down a marker thing, because I think we've laid down enough markers as the season's gone on, even at this kind of early stage. We're a third of the way through, or thereabouts now. But it wasn't laying down a marker. It was just showing everybody what we thought of ourselves. You know, that kind of way, what we believed in ourselves. But it was a phenomenal victory, and we go through a little bit more detail as we go. There's loads of comments coming in here, and I am trying to keep them up. One person said he had to leave the room when it went 3-1 because he was that stressed out, and that's a fair thing. Dixon says the Reds have spoiled the whole of the weekend again for the rest of the opposition fans. Yeah, that's a fair point. I've even seen Man United fans absolutely howling on social media at the fact that Liverpool have beaten their city rivals, which is absolutely unbelievable. Chris, it doesn't take long for this game to get going, and you know, we're ahead in 6 minutes, I'm going to say, and Fabinho gets it. It's a brilliant strike, it's a brilliant break, but the big talking point was at the other end of the pitch. The ball goes into the box. They're claiming a penalty against Alexander-Arnold. It doesn't happen. We haven't managed to get it away, and we break up the pitch, and it's a brilliant goal from Fabinho. If this game was fiery at the start, that just absolutely turned on the afterburners, Chris, didn't it?
Certainly did, mate. Yeah, and I've seen a lot of crying it in, and you know, it's not fair. It's always Liverpool. VAR doesn't do this. VAR doesn't do that. What all the pundits seemed to just ignore was, well, it hit Silva's arm first. And doesn't he gain advantage from that then? Mm-hmm. So if VAR looks at it, which it did, but if VAR looked at it, then he would have given us a free kick anyway. Mm-hmm. So they wouldn't have got a penalty from it. I think the reason there's been a controversy in Sky's eyes is because if it had hit, like it did, hit Trent's hand, but then he just got lashed out for a throw-in, they'd have gone, VAR check says no pen. And sure, to be honest, I don't think they'd have brought it up again. It's what they're not happy about is, we ran within 20 seconds, got down the other end of the pitch and scored. And
that's what you're upset about, Chris.
That's what they're upset about.
That's what they're upset about. They're upset at the fact that the decision is an afterthought. The fact that they switch off and they leave Mane with oceans of space and he gets it in the box and it falls to Fabinho. And listen, it's a poor clearance from City. And Fabinho has time to take a touch, line it up and smash it. You know, and you see, like I seen Gary Neville say, oh, well, a top-class keeper saves that. And then as soon as the ball hits the net, it's like, there's a VAR check, and I hear Carragher say, what did he do? And Tyler straight away says, you give the penalty. And I'm kind of going, no, hold on.
I thought that was the most...
What planet is this? Yeah, go on, Grizz.
I thought that was the most unbiased, and it just totally slipped, by, he put that comment in. Which commentator makes such a claim without having a second look himself?
Grizz,
so he's actually talking from a Man City fan's point of view.
Yes,
an
100%.
absolute biased point of view.
100%.
He has not seen the incident. He's seen it just the first goal, like we all had. Right, millions around the world who are watching that. Probably the biggest game in world football right now is Man City Liverpool. Undoubtedly the two best teams in Europe. Undoubtedly, Gav. And everyone has seen that for the first time, right? And haven't seen a replay yet. Yet when the question is asked, what's happened, he says the penalty is given. He's just so biased. It's absolutely embarrassing.
Literally, Jamie Carragher, and I might be paraphrasing slightly, but I don't think I'm going too far off of here. Literally, Jamie Carragher, Neville says there's a VAR check. Carragher says, what are they going to do? And Tyler, within a second, says, you give the penalty, right? Yeah. Now, the thing that people are missing out on, and like Centurion says there, I don't care, I love the goal even more. Yes, that's the main point. City's main problem with that is they switch off and they concede a goal, all right? And as Chris says quite rightly, if that gets kicked out for a throw-in, they may do a VAR check and go, it's just a throw-in, lads. We're continuing on as we are. The thing here is, right, one, when the ball drops, Aguero has enough time to just play it to Sterling and they score, but the goal wouldn't have been given, right? One, it's not a penalty. It's too close to him. It's definitely not a penalty. The second thing is, if it actually goes in the net, the forward player, it hits his hand and they gain an advantage from it. It's a free kick out. No arguments. There's no black and or grey areas here. Black and white. That is a free kick out, because under no circumstances can an attacking player have the ball hit off his hand, accidentally or not, and then have an advantage from it. So where all the hullabaloo came from, like Chris says there, Sky made it up. And when you actually break it down and look at the couple of different scenarios that could have happened, Sky are all over the place, and there's no controversy in it. But Grizz,
I think that's the problem with Sky and the commentators at the moment is, I think that sometimes if the commentator on Sky's going, oh, this is controversial, this is a nailed-on penalty. If you're leaning 50-50 either way, that's enough to, for most people, that's enough to influence going, well, the three pundits are saying it's a penalty, so maybe it is then.
Well, it's not. But if you break it down, and you have to remember, Chris, see these pundits are told what questions they're going to be asked before they come on screen, all right? So this is all semi-rehearsed, and I'm not too sure if Souness said he thought it was a penalty. But for me, I'm looking going, lads, one, it's not a penalty. I think someone says there it hits his hip. I think there might be an argument in that. Trevor Vea says the best part of today, Sean Cox on the screen, as a fellow man from Dunboyne, where Sean is from, he says the roar that went up in the pub was louder than the goals, and that was amazing to see that man at that game. Absolutely amazing to see him at that game. Really, really was. And as I said, we wish Sean all the best in his recovery, but to see him at the game like that today was just heartwarming, and it bring a tear to your eye, genuinely. It was absolutely heartwarming. But this choreographed stuff from Sky, if you break it down without the hysteria and the stuff they're trying to create, there's scenarios there where City don't look well over, and you see after the goal, Guardiola's going absolutely apeshit because, and he's not going mad because they didn't get the decision. He's going mad because they conceded the goal. But Grizz, what a strike from Fabinho! Like that's forgotten in all this.
And that's the shame of it all. We've discussed and much is made of his sort of stopping opposition attacks and his abilities to sort of break play and sometimes even when he's really confident, stride out with the ball. He's a good penalty taker, but I haven't seen him strike the ball as cleanly as that. It definitely took me by surprise. I've often said that the only criticism I could have of Fabinho is his goal scoring, because he was an attacking fullback at Monaco. He started off as an attacking fullback, so he can he has got attacking nous. falls on the edge of the box, Gav, and that sound of that ball when it hits the net is nothing sweeter, is there, Gav? And it was, I don't care if it was Edison in goal or Carl Walker. No one was stopping that, mate. No one was stopping. No keeper. That was proper techers. Top bins, mate. That's what you call top bins.
Yeah, no.
And all the commentators were just absolute atrocious, Gav, talking about.
Listen.
Oh, Edison would say this. I honestly, I done my own commentary. That's why I'm tired now.
Yeah, but you know,
there was about 15, 20 of us watching that game, and I done my own commentary, Gav, for that game. I ignored the shitheads after that. It was atrocious.
Yeah, like Kevin Sullivan says, it's shocking that Sky don't employ an ex-ref as a pundit. Barry says it was a top panel on Sky today, but company let us buy us in far too much. Was like he's shown a red card, then up to the studio to do punditry. That's a fair point. North Red says Fab's strike was totally overlooked by the commentary team. It was a brilliant strike. Let me see. I'll get back onto more comments in a couple of minutes. But for me, like it's just when you're watching this, you're thinking to yourself, like, Neville, I understand. Tyler, you know, it's just what you're going to get. But I've noticed, Chris, that Carragher's starting this as well, and he's starting to come around to this. You know, he was probably supposed. He was probably accused. He was probably accused of being too, you know, pro Liverpool, and now instead of evening himself out, like he says during early in the game, and I thought I misheard, and he goes, Liverpool haven't started well, Liverpool are just taking advantage of formation, and I was like, are you for fucking real here? This is the biggest game in the season, and they're 2-0 up after 14 minutes, is it? And he's trying to tell you Liverpool haven't started well. They're 2 fucking goals to 0 up, you know, Chris. But like, I
think with the 2-0, I think we were more clinical in the first 15 minutes. We had 2 chances and took them. I would probably say, in general play for the first 15 minutes, City had a lot of the ball. Yeah. The difference was they didn't do anything with it, or didn't do enough with it, whereas we had the 2 advantages of a breakaway. And I text my mate saying, I don't know whether this is just because City have played well and that's it, or has Klopp done a bit of a rope-a-dope and gone, do you know what, let's play dead for a bit and hit them on the break, which probably something, I'm sure Guardiola was expecting Liverpool to come out of the traps and hit them hard.
I think you make a great point there, Chris. I think the situation demanded, and it took me by surprise, because all week I was preaching a very cagey affair, like similar to last season. But I think it's fair to say the way that opening 20 minutes panned out, I think it was a pure rope-a-dope. It was. But we could have played better, Gav. I kind of share some of those sentiments of Carragher's. We defended really well in open play, but the defending on set pieces was a bit heart attacky. But yeah, it was pure rope-a-dope. We lured them in. I think the situation and Pep kind of being 6 points behind dictated that he attack us far more than, you know, last season. You know, he knows that he's got a horrendous set of fixtures coming up. You know, they've had fairly easy games already, you know, and they've dropped, how many points? 8 points?
No, they've dropped 11 now.
11 points they've dropped now.
Yeah.
And not the most difficult set of fixtures they've had in the opening, however many games it is.
They've played all the bottom 5, haven't they?
There you go. So they I think they needed to win this, and it showed the way he attacked. As Chris says, they had plenty of possession, but it was fairly toothless. A couple of times they seemed to, what it was, I think they got to our edge of our box very easily. Our pressing wasn't as intense as it usually is, which gives me the indication it was calculated, because no way we let them get to the edge of the box as easily as they were getting. But then we kept snuffing out and getting the toe, getting the interception. I thought Degsy had a
brilliant game.
Rocky 5-10 minutes, but after that he was superb.
That's allowed. I don't mind him being Rocky.
Of course, it's allowed. You're playing against one of the all-time greats in Aguero and one of the best young players Premiership's ever seen, in Sterling. And they were doubling up on that side as well. Trent and Trent as well.
It was always going to be their way home, Grizz, down that side. But and I don't mind Lovren having the odd 10 minutes where it looks a bit ropey, but he's getting through it. I just worry for Lovren when he tries to get too confident, and then when something goes wrong, falls to pieces. He kept it at an even keel today. He was 7 out of 10 as a centre half, and look, if you get 7 out of 10 every week out there, John Lovren, you're going to win more games than you're not. But like the second goal, and just to touch on your point, you said you agree a little bit on what that was. Grizz, I'll reverse this on you. I'm telling you now, if that game started like that and City were 2-0 up after 13 minutes, Carragher wouldn't be telling you that City haven't started well. Carragher would be telling you that that's the experience of champions. That's what they can do to you. That's what you do when you're left open. And he would have come out with all the cliched stuff, and he would have, talked City up to the heavens. He never would have said City haven't started well here, and he just took advantage of this. It's comical. Sky is comical now at this stage. But
to be fair though, Gav, until we win it, we're never going to get that credit.
Yeah, that's a fair point. But you have to be watching a game, not even with boys. You have to be watching a game and take emotion and stuff out and just watch the game. And it seems choreographed at this stage. And I hate to say that because I like Jamie Carragher. I like Gary Neville as a pundit, but I just find that it's nearly choreographed the way the three of them when they're doing this, and the way they do it for, I don't know, is it clickbait? It's obviously not clickbait. People are paying to watch this, but it's the sort of stuff that you can take clips of tomorrow and play it back. Do you know what I mean, Chris?
I mean, saying that our counter-attacking wasn't as sharp as it has been in the past. Saying that, we scored 2 outstanding goals on the break.
Well, you've cut across me there. Goals. The second goal, Grizz, go for it with the second goal.
So it starts with us winning the ball again, and then I can't remember for the life of me who plays it to Robertson's pass.
Trent plays it from right back to left wing.
Poetry in motion. I mean, that is their signature, isn't it? Fullback to fullback. So, Trent Alexander the Great, eyes closed, ping to Robertson. Robertson actually, Sadio makes a very good run into the left channel.
Yeah.
And you think the easy pass is to play into Sadio and he can go and torment whoever that defender is. But Robertson, who's, believe it or not, some mentalists in our fan base have sort of questioned his delivery and his final ball. I mean, fuck knows what they watch and fuck knows how they can call themselves.
They don't watch football.
Yeah, they don't watch football. That ball was superb, and it's an absolute. It's just asking to be headed exactly how Mo heads it. The quality of the ball, the pace, the way it swerves away from the goalkeeper. Just when the goalkeeper thinks he's got a chance, the defenders dare not get a touch onto it because they'll go towards the direction of the ball. Salah, whose heading is atrocious, to be honest with you. But the ball makes his mind up for him, doesn't it? It absolutely makes his mind up for him. All he's got to do is get that beautiful afro onto it, and it's sensational. It's a textbook counter-attack goal, and that really deflated all the early promise of the ball and everything. Really superb textbook goal, Gav.
Yeah, it was brilliant. Kev says Trent's left foot crossfield ball was inch perfect. Dixon says, although Keane is ex-United, I think he's a decent pundit. The thing about Keane is he won't be told what to do, and I'm not Roy Keane's biggest fan in no way, shape or form.
The post-match with Company was quite funny.
Yeah, but the thing about Keane is Keane will just tell you as he sees it, and he won't be. He doesn't care, and I'd listen to him more about Liverpool than I would about Manchester United because he isn't Liverpool. So what he's telling you is probably a little bit more honest. And don't get me wrong, if Liverpool weren't doing well, he'd probably slammed them because he's in that position as ex-United. But Keane just tells you as it is, The Cop Table says, get in, boys. Absolutely. Peter, I hope you're out on the town in Liverpool tonight after that win. Kevin O'Sullivan says, Mo times his run to perfection. Arrives exactly when he needs to. Northred says, the commentary team are screaming for offside. Never comment on the ball, etc. More interested in VAR. Absolutely brutal. But Chris, it goes 2-0 and it puts us in a brilliant position. I know it's 13 minutes in, and I did have the thought, we're doing all this way too early. But I thought we were good for the remainder of the first half. I was expecting City to come on to it. I thought when there's a lull in the game, and you're expecting a lull with 30 odd minutes to go in the first half. You're expecting a lull somewhere, and that's where we may be susceptible to City turning it on. Aguero cuts in, has a shot, Alisson makes a save, but overall for the rest of the first half, Chris, decent.
Was decent. I think the only other chance I can remember was the De Bruyne through ball to Aguero, where in fairness to Lovren, he's doomed with that ball either way, because if he presses the ball, Aguero's through, which he was. If he doesn't press the ball, De Bruyne's getting the shot from 30 yards. But apart from that, we did keep them quite quiet. The only sort of anxious moments I ever felt we had was when Sterling got the ball. I thought he was their best player.
He was excellent.
I thought he was the one time, every time the ball got Sterling, you could see Liverpool had got the plan of, we need to double up, triple up. I know he was getting wound up and losing his head, but you could just see the levels he's grown since he left Liverpool. And that's probably the best I've seen him play at Anfield. He was the one I thought, he
was the
felt
best
like
player by a mile.
Yeah, I thought so.
Best player by
but
a mile.
isn't that we're saying that, and I tend to agree. He was by far the biggest threat. But isn't it testimony to young Alexander the Great how riled up he got him to the point where I haven't seen. I mean, you guys are sort of bigging up his performance, fair enough, but I haven't seen him that frustrated and riled up as well. And it was all because of this kid that's been sort of, said to be brilliant going forward and weak defensively. I thought that was a brilliant, mature performance for Trent, not only on the ball but off the ball, because Sterling makes those runs behind you for a living, and he's deadly at it. But Trent had him most of the evening.
Yeah, but
I think the referee helps that though, because Oliver, in fairness to him, is not a particularly fussy referee, whereas you do get certain referees who are, if you look at a player or breathe on a player, it's a free kick. It's they make it very non-contact.
There was no.
So I think that helps.
There was calls all week for Oliver to get this game, and he gets it, and there's a reason for it. Because like you said, he's a good ref. He's not too fussy, and he makes decisions he has to make. He doesn't get involved. He doesn't make himself a big thing. Even at the end of the game, and I know we get to that, but Guardiola's shaking his hand and shouting in his face, and he's just standing there going, "Fuck off! I'm the ref. I made the decision."
We've given refs a hard time last couple of weeks, and rightly so. So it's only fair we give a shout out to this referee. I thought
he's the best. Superb. He's the best in the Premier League.
He's the best one.
And if he's not only one of the best in the league, he's probably one of the best in the world. And it showed today. Especially for a fairly young referee, he actually commands respect now. In a game of that magnitude, with two of the most high-profile managers, he could have or would have. Any other referee would have got lambasted and sort of. But even though Pep was fuming, it was still fairly respectfully done.
No,
he said the odd word. Thank you very much.
No, it wasn't. No. He was pointing.
It was sarcastic.
He was waving his finger in his fucking face, Chris.
Yeah, but there was no effing and blinding, Gav.
I get the Pep.
I'm telling you.
I get the Pep Guardiola later. I will get to him because I'm going to slaughter the fucker when we get there. We'll get to later on. I'm going to be honest with you. Centurion says Liverpool were poor. We are lucky to win that game. This is what Sky has me thinking. If you listen to Sky, that you're going to get. He also says good game management, but Liverpool were poor. Let me ask Sky what to think exactly. North Red says with all that said, to where we are, what we've done, etc. I believe if we went to say Werner in January, it would help us for the final push. We'll get to that in the international break and have a look as to where Liverpool will be. I promise. But do you know what, Grizz? Before we get on to the second half, just a quick question for you. All what went on during the week with regards to Rodri, Ederson, David Silva, Pepe and Techi, stuff like that. Do you think? And I'm only asking this because of his reaction during the game. Do you think Pep Guardiola told his Man City side they were being hard done by and they were underdogs and everybody was against them, and that was a trigger when they went 2-0 down for them to completely lose their head, and they lost it in the fashion of what Guardiola was doing? Did he try approach this game and tell them they were being hard done by? Because I got that impression with the decisions, the way they played, and the quite awful behaviour of their manager, to be perfectly honest with you.
He definitely all week his mind games and sort of he tried everything. He tried everything in the era of sort of the kind of shit that him and Mourinho used to do, but it usually used to be Mourinho doing it, right? So Pep Pep used to always sort of play the good guy in that battle, and Mourinho was always sort of seen to be, the mastermind behind the mind games, and Pep done exactly that, and it was Klopp sort of just batting him away at every press conference or question, and he definitely tried to create a siege mentality, them against us, when it really, really wasn't. It's literally Sky and the rest of the world versus Liverpool. The media was absolutely crying out for a City win, so that it's more exciting and sort of etc. etc. But yeah, Pep. I think Pep let himself down.
He's an arsehole.
I'm a massive Pep fan, so I'm not gonna suddenly start hating him for it. But I think he let himself down. I think this week.
Yeah. Listen, we get to half time. It's 2-0, and I genuinely thought at half time we need to probably get to 65, 70, keep this lead, and then play a 20-minute game where we don't lose the game by 2 goals. That's what I thought.
I texted mate saying, let's get to the first 15 at 0-0, and then I think we should be all right.
I was thinking the same.
So the Manny goal was a lovely welcome bonus.
It absolutely was, and I genuinely thought get to 65. I thought 70, because I thought a 20-minute game where we need to lose this game by a goal, and I think we'd be fine. But we don't fuck about. We're 6 minutes into the second half. Henderson, who I thought was really good while he was on the pitch, by the way.
Brilliant cross.
Gets down the wing, drops, looks like he's going to cross it, goes again, puts in a brilliant cross, and Mane arrives at the back post and heads it in. And then I was like, oh, here we fucking go. But Chris, what a cross, what a header. And I felt then that they're not coming back from this, regardless if there's 35 minutes left or more. No, there was 40 minutes left. Probably 45 when you add in injury time. I genuinely thought, no, this is only going one way now. I thought it could have been 4 or 5.
Yeah, I didn't think 4 or 5. I was pretty much thinking that's job done. I even thought if City may get 1 back, may get 2 back. But I was thinking it's a while since Liverpool have ever lost a 3-goal lead. I mean, we all know the infamous one. Mm-hmm. So what, 13-14? So that's a long time to go without losing a 3-0 lead. City are brilliant and they're very good, but Liverpool don't lose 2-goal, 3-goal leads very often, especially when they're ahead at half time. So yeah, I mean, it was just it was more the fact how easy it was for Henderson to cross, no pressure on him, and for all his detractors he has, the lad can put a ball in. If you give any professional footballer time and space, they'll pick someone out. And it's a great run by Mane. I'm a little bit suspicious of the keeper.
Yeah,
I personally think Alisson and Ederson, I think they saved that.
You think they get across and get it around the post?
I think they get a stronger hand to it. And look, it may I'm not saying they put it out wide for a corner. It may go back into play, but if we conceded that goal, I would be looking at the keeper going, I expect Alisson to save that, and I would expect Ederson to save that because he's very, very good. Maybe that's just a slight drop in quality.
Would you be looking at your fullback going, where were you?
Potentially, yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah. I'm looking at a header at the back post. He's more or less within the lines of the 6-yard box, and he's fucking standing there on his own, more or less. It's.
Cal walked down his gloves, didn't he? So he's going back in goal, wasn't he?
So it's one of those. Grizz, when it goes 3-0, I know you're emotional, Grizz. I can feel it I can feel the vibes I'm getting off you tonight. Maybe it's because your 93% has now dropped to 89 because you went for a 1-1 and it was a 3-1. Maybe the percentage just dropping has drained you.
Brilliant. I love being wrong when it comes to Liverpool.
Yeah, you're quite happy for that percentage to drop with that result, I think. But when it goes 3-0, Grizz, are you like me? Are you thinking this is only going one way, or are you thinking, lads, another a City goal in the next 5 minutes and this could just go absolute mayhem?
No.
Is that what you're thinking?
No, yeah. At 2-0, I'm still shitting it. Nervous. And the fact, the reason for that is, look, we've bigged up Liverpool today, and we're a Liverpool podcast, and rightly so. We're talking about Liverpool, and that's all that matters to us. But it is testimony to how good this City team is, that I'm pretty sure, a lot of the fan base was still nervous at 2-0 at home to Man City, because they are fucking good, Gav. Especially going forward.
They're a brilliant football side.
We know their deficiencies at the back. Keeper missing, couldn't give a shit. Laporte missing, couldn't give a shit. Honestly, I couldn't give a shit. Every team goes through that. That team was still worth 400 million. £400 million that team was worth, Gav.
Well, look at Gan ever brought up the point about the fullback saying they decided to leave Mendy at home, a £50 million fullback, and they had another £50 million fullback sat on the bench who decided not to play.
No, so, I couldn't give a shit. Yeah,
I mean, they got injuries, but they got the world's biggest and best squad.
Simple.
So,
but when so nervousness was still there, BP was high, heart rate was fast, all of them things. But when we scored that third goal, Gav, I really celebrated. Did
you go on the cans?
Like, not quite.
All right.
I grabbed myself a mango lassi. It was. I think it was like when Salah won when we got the penalty decision in the Champions League final.
Yeah.
It was that kind of elation. I really could. Normally, I'm a very calm watcher of a football game. You know me. I'm a pure football man. I tend to do the analysis in a calm, mild-mannered way. You know. But this time I lost my shit in the third goal, and I'm paying for it now. But I thought this is it. I thought that's them done, and then they regained. Then we retreated, and I think Henderson went off in the 70th minute. And we say what we want about Henderson, but his energy and his tirelessness for the team is amazing. And when he went off that pitch, we did seem to lose.
Our organisation drops a level.
And they got back into it. And I thought to myself, we can't concede here. We can't concede here because they'll get another glimmer of hope. Because from the third goal to about the 70th minute, it was pure piss-taking football. I mean, we were doing what City do to 95% of the teams in the league.
Yeah.
We absolutely, took the living piss out of them, and that was beautiful to watch because Pep was slumped in his chair, and the crowd was amazing, and it was brilliant viewing. And then they got that stranglehold again for that last 20 minutes. Until about 5 minutes to go, I got a bit nervous again, but I think it's just me that's got to adapt and adjust to this new Liverpool.
No, Chris.
They're doing everything right. It's my stupidity and insecurities from the past.
Listen, you've hit the nail on the head there with your very, very last sentence. And listen, Grizz, like me and you are very, 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 very good friends, all right? And me and you laugh at each other, slag each other off, and take the piss genuinely from 7 days a week. But what I will say is I know exactly where you're coming from with this, because no matter how far we got ahead in this league, whether it's 8, 10, 15, 20 points, until a whistle goes and it's confirmed by Martin Tyler as he fucking throws himself off a gantry somewhere, the Liverpool are champions, I know exactly where you're coming from. It's just one of those things that is built into Liverpool fans of a certain age, probably over the age of 30, I would say, and probably even less than that. And it's just one of those where it's complete insecurity, and that's absolutely fair enough. And until, like Chris earlier, we won't get the credit until we win a league. Grizz, we won't get rid of that until we win a league, regardless of what we do in football, whether we're going and winning European Cups, European Super Cups, Club World Cups, fucking Charity Shields, FA Cups, League Cups. It doesn't matter. Until we put that one on the table, the insecurity will always be there. Always be there. Centurion asks, did you see the Liverpool fan behind the dugout absolutely going for Pep throughout the whole game? I didn't, but I'm going to try watch that.
I'll rewatch it now.
On Match of the Day. When I rewatch the game, I will keep an eye out for that. And I'm going to watch Match of the Day after this anyway, so it's one of those, so I will keep an eye out for that. Royston said Henderson had a great game. I thought he was really good. I thought he was genuine. But listen, I'm not gonna, because people accuse me all the time of loving Henderson way too much. I'm not going to put him out there just on his own. I thought everyone was really, really good. Not exceptional, but I thought we were really.
Oh no,
really
I
good.
thought there was a couple exceptional bars. I suppose we'll get to that when you ask me.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think it's more as a unit. We were a unit, which is something Liverpool have always been trying to build to for the last 2-3 years. It doesn't matter which one's in there; it's the unit works well.
Yeah.
And Henderson, I think the reason Henderson goes off is he can't be 100% fit.
No,
if
he was ill during the week.
ill during the week, it's obviously still having some sort of impact on him. So, and it also shows how confident Klopp is about how we're doing. Is 20 minutes to go, I can rest our captain against the current league champions. You know, not that long ago we would have done that. I mean, having someone with the experience of Mills to bring on, you know, is a godsend really, because then you feel quite relaxed. You feel quite relaxed about it.
He's always your first sub.
It's always first sub. He didn't really rattle anyone this time, which is a bit unmillennial, which was a bit disappointing. But
yeah, but I don't think he's going to risk that, Chris. I think he's come on and he's gone, right, we're going to get back into shape here now, and we're going to make it really fucking annoying for this. And yeah, it was just brilliant. I thought Chamberlain all right when he came on. I got the impression Klopp wanted him at 3-0, not at 3-1. I think that's why he lost his head when they scored. Yeah.
I know I'm jumping ahead, but I think that's what he's losing his head over. Is I think he felt the assistant had stopped him making his sub, which is what impacted the goal.
Yeah.
But
no, look, the City do get back into it, but I think Liverpool managed the game quite well till the end, and
that was their first shot on target apparently in the second half.
Yeah, I just thought we were brilliant as a unit, as you said. Like when I watched the game, maybe there is one or two that I'm probably being a bit harsh there when I say nobody was outstanding. There probably is one or two when I think back. I am being a bit harsh, Chris. Sorry for that, Grizz, because I know you're emotional.
No, you're right.
But
you're right today. I'll let you off.
But no, look, it's a brilliant 3 points. It's 8 points clear in the league. It's 9 points clear of City because they're always going to be the marker. And you know, when I look at this now and I think, and I hate Liverpool getting international breaks, but Grizz, this is one where I want. Do you know what it is? I'm happy this international break because I want the rest of the league to stew on this for 2 weeks, and I think it's coming at a perfect time. Am I being a prick there, or do you think I'm right?
Oh, mate, there's gonna be some piss boiled, isn't it? It's fucking mental. We are the unbearables, and it's an unfair tag because we're an amazing club that's done everything the right way, but for some reason, and I think most of it stems from insecurities like we have from how great we were, and people know that if we get back on the top, we're staying there for ages. And they can't take it, Gav. They really can't take it. We are... Listen, if we don't win the league, it will be the biggest travesty of justice, and I will give up football. But it's still...
Back to cricket.
I'm going to take up cricket, mate.
Yeah.
Play for Pakistan.
Did you get a phone call about that? No?
Not yet, but you know, you never give up. We go again.
Absolutely.
But
this means more.
It's still immense proud, man. This team has made us immense proud to call us. We are the best team in the world right now.
I said it, yeah.
And I don't think anyone can doubt that.
Duncan Castles does. Gary Neville does. Jamie Carragher does. Martin Tyler absolutely does. And Vincent Kompany does.
Do you think the reason there's a lot of piss balled of us doing quite well is, do you think with some fans there's the acceptance of, well, City have got all the money, they've got Pep Guardiola, they're going to dominate for 3, 4, 5 years. What can you do?
No.
When Pep goes, then we can take it. We can try and tackle City then. But
yeah.
There's definitely going to be other clubs now, fans who'll be looking at Man United, Arsenal, Tottenham, Chelsea to a less extent because of the ban. They're all going, we've got similar finances to Liverpool. In fact, in Man United's case, we've got more finances than Liverpool. They've got their shit in order, and they are challenging an oil state, which is what City's powered by, an oil state. So if you were an Arsenal Tottenham fan, we're going, well, we haven't got City's money. We're probably a similar level to Liverpool in terms of finances. So why aren't we getting close to it? What have we not got sorted behind the scenes? And the first Liverpool, it took us a long time to get our shit in order behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Pre-FSG, post-FSG, you know, it took a few goes for us to finally get our house in order. We finally have. But it is raising questions probably to other clubs that they don't want to admit, which is, well, if you've got your house in order above you, you probably could and should be in this conversation.
I think I agree with the vast majority of what you're saying there, especially with houses being in order and stuff like that. There's the difference between Liverpool and everybody else is Jurgen Klopp.
Yeah.
And I genuinely mean that. I think like we look at like let's take Ole Gunnar Solskjaer for as an example, right? Man United legend, scores in the European Cup final to win it for them at the death, all that sort of stuff, and he doesn't get Manchester United. Okay, he thinks he gets Manchester United, but he actually doesn't, because at Manchester United you're meant to walk around and you're meant to tell people you're the best. You're meant to be extra confident in yourself. You're meant to be ruthless in what you do, and you must have exceptional standards. This is the guy that doesn't park his fucking car in the manager's spot because he believes it's Alex Ferguson's. This is a fella that makes excuses for his players every week, okay, and keeps telling you that we're working really hard and we're this and the other. He doesn't get it. Jurgen Klopp gets Liverpool, and what he does is he drags every asset of Liverpool from all different directions, he bundles it up, and he fucks it out on a pitch on a Saturday or a Sunday. That's exactly what he does. Like, he's telling fellas that are selling hot dogs to be on top of their game come Sunday. They're not going to have any influence on the game whatsoever, but I'll mention them. Do you know why? Because the vibe will spread throughout that ground, around the area, people get into their seats. They end up being nearly feral in what they're doing, because it's like tribal. We're doing this regardless of who's in front of us, whether it's Manchester City, Barcelona, or mix them all together. We're doing this, and that's what he has. That's the difference between Liverpool at the moment. All right, financially, Spurs are probably hindered with the stadium. Arsenal are a mess, and people keep going on about, but they have this and they have that. They're an absolute and utter mess. All right, Chelsea are doing extremely well. Me and Grizz spoke about it on Friday night, about how well Lampard's doing with the mix of young and players there that didn't seem motivated last season. But the difference at the moment is Jurgen Klopp has built, and that decision to not further that squad in terms of numbers last summer is starting to look like it's coming to fruition. I'm one that probably wasn't too happy come the start of the season when he didn't add one or two, but it's starting to come to fruition now, where he's made a tight group absolutely voice-like now, where there's nobody coming in from the outside where they mightn't get it for 6 months. They are on a mission together, and they knew from day one exactly what they have to do. And that, for me, is the difference between Jurgen Klopp, Liverpool, Spurs, Arsenal, Chelsea, United, wherever else it is. It's a brilliant setup from what he's done from the summer and in the 3 years he's been here. But listen, he's literally harnessing everything about Liverpool Football Club, and he's slamming it at everybody week on week on week.
The other thing he has done, which I'll be honest, there haven't been many Liverpool managers to do this, probably because A, to have the balls there, and B, to have the confidence to do it, is he has called the fans out on some of our Liverpool way things. Yeah. As in, he turned around less than a few months in charge of the job, going, well, you're fucked off with 10 minutes to go. Thanks for that. Yeah. What do you want me to do if you're fuck off? Why don't you stay?
Absolutely. He's not afraid to take on.
The amount of times I've seen him turn around and give it to the main stand.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because there is a generation of fans who go to the game and they're very fortunate that do the little bit of the, I've seen this before, we always blow it, this is crap. And I think he's turned around someone going, well, you can do that, or you can just join me and get involved. And I think actually that's quite good. I mean, I love the fact he said to all the players, none of you are touching that. This is Anfield sign, so you win something with me. I don't care what you've done before. You win it with me, or you don't touch it. So now there are players who can touch it, because now they don't feel like it's another thing to earn, But you've got to have a set of balls and a bit of confidence to call out a fan base, because if it goes wrong, and we've seen it with managers, and it can go wrong with fans. Once you lose your fan base, you're knackered. So it was a calculated risk he did. I think possibly sometimes with Solskjaer, that's where he's gone wrong. Is he's probably too ingrained in this is the Man United way, and actually you should just go, no, this is how I'm the manager. This is how we're going to do it.
Precisely.
I don't care how Fergie did it. This is how I'm going to do it. I'm not Fergie.
Yeah.
Like he said, I'm not Shankly. I'm not Dalglish. I'm not Paisley. I am my own man. Mm-hmm. And I think that's where he's gone wrong. That's where, if it's to Lampard, he's very Chelsea through and through, but he's doing it his own style. Mm-hmm. I think he has not felt lucky, but it's been a fortunate situation as that he's probably got the job because they got the transfer ban and he knew a lot of the youth players. So that was a perfect storm. But you give the tools you work with, and in fairness to him, he's got them set up playing away. That is great. I mean, I'm quite glad we played Chelsea away so early in the season.
It looks a hell of a result for us there at the moment.
It does. I think so, because I think there's going to be other clubs going Chelsea away. That's an arse of a game. As will Sheffield United away, and Burnley starting to hit form now. There are certain trickier ways that we all know about we seem to be hitting them like we're coming to Palace soon, and I think Palace have had their peak, and we've just seen recently they're starting to dip down a bit now. We saw, they weren't particularly great the last couple of home games, so sometimes the look of a draw helps you with the fixtures.
Yeah, but you have to play everybody twice, and
you do.
And circumstance can change that. Whether players are out, injured, suspended, stuff like that, bad form, it can happen. Grizz, before we get onto the last topic I want to touch on, man of the match for you.
Can I give? Have we given a joint one before?
No, you can do whatever you want. If you want to give it to 4 players and offer them free meals at your high-end restaurants, you are absolutely
No. Well, some of them deserve it.
Yeah, but I knew you weren't going to give that away for free. You're a
today they would get free meals from me, and that's something.
I don't think they will, Chris.
I thought Fabinho and Gini were absolute out of this world.
Mm-hmm.
I thought Fabinho, obviously with the goal, but his general play in midfield to just keep up with those Man City players. When Man City start passing the ball around midfield, they can drain the fuck out of you, drain the life out of you. But this guy is just getting better and better and better. I thought Gini Wijnaldum was superb, Gav. I've seen, as you know, I'm a football man, so I've seen the likes of Seedorf.
Yeah.
Gini put in a performance today that matches anything I've seen from some of the best players. It's not given enough credit today, Gini Wijnaldum's performance. It was really that good. When you get a chance to watch it again, Gav.
I will tonight.
You watch Gini Wijnaldum, and I think Mourinho gave him some credit afterwards, and Hendo as well, because you see the way
Mourinho loves Liverpool, doesn't he?
The way they create space for our attackers to be able to attack in the way they can, also helping out the fullbacks so they can attack the way they can. It's not an easy job playing in our midfield, Gav, and I thought Gini was an absolute monster. Class he was today.
So you're going Gini and Fabinho, is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, I'm going to give it to Fabinho.
Okay, no worries. But Mourinho does love Liverpool, doesn't he? It's mad.
He's always wanted that. He's always wanted that job. Always. And I think he's coming to terms with it now. Like, sort of, look, he's missed it. There's no point being sour about it. So he's always loved us, but then he had to hate us because of his Chelsea affiliation and then United. Yeah. He had to hate us. But now he's fucked off with all those Chelsea and Man United affiliations. He's back to loving us like he started off. He's always loved us.
Yeah, Stephen Max says Gini was different gravy. Chemical Kev says Kyle Walker getting cross with Stone was a highlight. Stones look like a scared little brother. Liverpool versus everybody says Jose said it's over, the league is theirs. Chris Pross says Gini was awesome.
Stop it.
Why can't he do that away? I think he's better away at times than you realise.
He should have did it at Sheffield United.
Yeah, absolutely. He's lashing them in at Sheffield United, lads. Like to the point where he had he had the keeper under some sort of spell. So it was like that. Liverpool again versus everybody says, love the way we got under their skin as well, particularly Walker and Sterling. I love that. I love that needle. I love where you're beating a team and you're going to be snide little fuckers while you're at it. Absolutely love it. Royston says, how about this week's ref out of 10? I thought he was brilliant. We discussed it earlier.
I thought it was good. I thought he made the game flow pretty well.
As best he could.
Didn't go on too much of a nonsense, a little bit of the shenanigans. He kind of just let it go. I think in terms of the Premier League, there's no one better than Oliver.
There's not.
It's one of those worries you don't have to have as a fan. If they say, who's ref? Oh, it's Oliver. Okay, you don't worry about that. And if he does give a bad decision, he's one of those refs that if he does give a bad decision, you would give him the benefit of the doubt because 9 times out of 10 he's pretty good. So you go, it happens. Whereas most of the other referees, I wouldn't trust them.
No, it was when John Moss comes up the fucking Walton-Breck Road on a BMX bike and decides he's a Premier League ref. No, that's not for me. It's definitely not.
He's never been on a bike in his life.
What?
He's never been on a bike in his life.
Oh no, the bike's on the back of a low bed or an open bed truck. He's not cycling it. Trust me. Chris, your man of the match.
I think it's Fabinho for me. He was brilliant. Absolutely different class. I would give a special shout out. I feel both fullbacks did really, really well. Because for different things. Silva is a very, very technical and tricky player to keep control of, which I thought Robson did really well with, and Sterling's just lightning. So I think Trent did really well to keep up. The one thing I would say about the Gomez situation with Sterling, it wasn't that long ago, probably talking Rafa's era away at United, where if there was that little needle of a player, our players would go, "Oh, sorry." Yeah. And they'd all go away, and I think you need that bit of backbone, and I think you need that little bit of not nastiness, but you do need to stand up for your mate and stand your ground and go. You don't have to go around hitting people or kicking people, but stand your ground. Don't give anyone an inch. And for years, Liverpool did that. Gave every big club in it. "Oh, I'm sorry I kicked you. Oh, sorry I knocked you over." It's like, no, stand your ground. You can all be mates after the game, but on the pitch, stand your ground a bit more. So, and Gomez, when he came on, I know we're all not a big fan of him at right back, but he did the job we needed. He had Trent in front of him to help him, which it worked.
Yeah, and as I said, there's a steely determination off Liverpool. There's like a tunnel vision off them, and like you said, Joe Gomez, Jordan Henderson, Trent Alexander-Arnold, they don't care if they go in and smash Raheem Sterling and they're his mate and stuff like that. Yeah, you might say how are things after the game, but while you're on that pitch, Liverpool literally have one mission in life, and it's to go and win the Premier League title. Grizz, have you anything else before we go?
Have I got anything else?
Yeah, there's anything else you want to discuss before we go?
I think today we dedicate that win to Sean Cox's family. That was emotional as well. I'm very emotional. I'm knackered. I'm battered. I think I've got a shawarma waiting for me in the fridge. I haven't even touched it yet.
A what?
Chicken shawarma.
Don't know what that is. Go on, keep going.
Yeah, don't worry about it. It's just it's a bit of food, Gav.
Well, what is it? What is it though? Tell me.
Fucking don't know what chicken shawarma is.
No.
Have you not seen Avengers?
I'm from the north side of Dublin, lads. I don't get into all this stuff. What is it?
It's the thinly sliced layers of chicken that's put on one of those spits, and you cut it off. Haven't you seen it when people cut off that? No.
Kebab, is it? Is it a kebab that spins around and you just cut bits off it? Have you got one of them in your kitchen? Like, where you put the kebab meat on a spike and it just turns really slow in front of looks like a blow heater, and then what happens is you cut it off with a knife and you stick it in pita bread and you call it a kebab. Is that what you have in your kitchen?
Liquidate the pod.
Liquidate the pod. Come here and I tell you, half the stuff you've said on this pod, we haven't liquidated it by now. We never will, but I'm being honest with you. Nobody's getting rid of us, Chris. You know that.
Good, but shawarma's a kebab. Yeah, glorified chicken kebab.
Listen, it's just slices. It's fucking slices of chicken. When you stop making mad names. Chris Pross says, "Bring on match of the day when the slag goes off." Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Alan Shearer and Ian Wright having a breakdown. Although Ian Wright is alright. Yeah. But anything else, Grizz, before we go?
Nah, mate. That's it. Up the Reds. Fucking hell, we're favourites.
It's beautiful. Mad. It's beautiful to see you being so emotional, Chris. Chris, I'm going to say it now just before we finish. You are most 100% in a conservatory and the weather outside is absolutely appalling. Am I right in saying that?
You're correct, mate. I thought, I'll go in here. It's nice and quiet, and then it's the heavens have opened as soon as the podcast starts. Yeah. I'll go to a different room next time.
Yeah, you'd be better off standing out in the rain. I think it'd be quieter. But,
don't worry. If you have me on again, I'll find a quieter room.
Exactly. Let me see. Northred says, go tell Gav, tell them about Stew. Go, mate, tell them about Real Field. I can't tell Grizz about that. No, it's not really. No.
I know what stew is.
All right, what's in it then?
It's meat and vegetables with water and all kinds of herbs and spices, and it's a stew. Come on, fucking hell, it's not rocket science.
No, not really, Grizz. Not really. Liverpool rest, everybody says turn that rain down. Listen, that rain is fucking... That's Liverpool fans outside pouring water on the top of Chris's conservatory so he can stay there and do what he fucking wants.
It's Pep crying it in.
Yeah.
That's Pep's tears, mate.
There's no random questions tonight because Grizz's head will literally explode. He's so emotional. It's unbelievable. But listen, Liverpool have beat Man City 3-1. They've got 9 points clear of Manchester City, 8 points clear of Leicester and Chelsea. We go into the international break. Sky, BBC, TalkSport, any sort of media outlet you can think of are going to be absolutely fuming for the next 2 weeks, making up excuses, telling us how much they don't like Liverpool. That's just the way it is. Pep Guardiola's head has completely and utterly gone, and it's a thing of absolute beauty. And if anybody tells you different, they're absolutely lying to yourself. Up the fucking Reds. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. We'll be back with the club tomorrow night at around 8:30. The recording, it'll be out for tomorrow night, and I'll be back on Tuesday. Chris, thanks a million. Grizz, thanks a million. The Reds are the fucking business. Over and out.